baby, I'm so happy that you have joined me. Welcome to another episode in my wedding planning series where I give you tips and tricks to plan your own wedding. If you're new here, consider yourself a royal and check out all the videos on my channel as well as like, comment, share and subscribe. If you're not so new here, then thank you so much for stopping once more to check out my video. Remember to stay to the end to hear my fun fact. Alright, so in this video, I will be discussing some important things that you must consider when choosing the perfect wedding venue. The first thing is the date availability. Of course, you want to ensure that this venue is available on the date that you would like to keep your wedding. Also, bear in mind that the rates are dependent on the season, the day, and the time of day that you are getting married. So a Wednesday morning wedding in September is more likely to be cheaper than a Saturday afternoon wedding in December, and that is in Jamaica, right? The second thing you must consider is booking. Booking encapsulates policies. You must understand what type of policies are in place. Cancellation or refund policies. Is a security deposit needed? When we were planning to get married at Laughing Waters, we were informed about a security deposit that would have been made payable within 10 days after the event. They also had a cancellation and refund policy that reads, events cancelled within 30 days prior to the event date will result in funds deposited being forfeited, right? So if we cancel within 30 days of the event, then we can't get back the money. And events cancelled due to act of God can be rescheduled to a future date. For weddings only, a full refund will be made on cancellations if there is no future date. So if storm come and the place just mash up, then we are able to get back our money. We are able to get back our full refund if we don't have a future date. You want to have these things outlined and you want to make sure that you understand fully. If you want to make changes to your reservation, how long do you have to do so without incurring, fees or penalties? Does this venue offer a variety of accommodation options? Especially if you're having out-of-town guests, you want to know if there are nearby hotels for them to stay over if there is such a need. Are there good rates for these hotels? With resorts, you're able to get a discount code or a room block. And this is something that you can discuss with a travel agent or a reservation agent on property. We were able to get a discount code with Rio Ochi through some links, for our guests, and that really worked out for them and for us especially. You want to think about if there are any nearby villas or Airbnbs, and you also want to know if there are any rooms at the venue itself. With those out of the way, you start to ask questions about the packages. What sort of packages are offered? There are all-inclusive packages. You may be eligible for some packages once you meet a minimum requirement. So it may be a minimum of 25 guests or 50 guests, right? In Jamaica, for us especially, having our wedding on resort was not, it was not gonna be practical because our guests are locals and not many of them wanted to stay on resort. And for us to get married on resort, some of the basic packages, your guests had to be staying there at least 3 days. That wasn't gonna work out for us. And the minimum number of guests, like 25, we were having 80 guests, so we would have to pay per person after the 25 was covered. Just those little things was not practical for us, but it may be good for you. So find out what the package actually includes. Do not be fooled by the phrase all inclusive. With all inclusive, you have to think about catering and decor. You must think about these things. Is there an on-site caterer? And is there a tasting policy? A lot of times they will require you to pay an amount of money, and then this amount will be credited to your total balance once you have confirmed. Along with the tasting policy, you have to ask about the liquor policies. Do they allow alcohol on the venue? And some venues have some little fine print, some very, very fine print, that you have to read and ask about. You have something named corkage fee, where the venue will charge you. If you opt to bring your own liquor, they can charge you for each bottle that you open. So you have to weigh the pros and cons. Does it make sense to use their bar? Do I go premium or basic? Am I only gonna do juices? You have to think about that with respect to your venue and the fees that can be incurred. Decor is pretty standard in most of these packages. You get basic white tablecloths, napkins, chairs, tables. Your location may not even provide these things, so you need to find out about that. One of my friends getting married this year actually told me about a location that provides red and blue tablecloths. That's provided her with additional options. And also, you must find out what leeway you have. If you are able to bring in decor or add decor elements to the space, how much of it can you do? Meaning, are you gonna be able to do draping? Are you able to put nails in the walls? Are you able to do any drilling? Are you able to have lit candles versus LED candles? Things like that you have to consider. And overall, you need to find out their list of preferred vendors. I've been saying the word vendor, and I don't want to take it for granted that persons understand what I'm talking about. A vendor, somebody who sells something. In this case, the vendor is someone who is going to provide you with a service or a product. And that person can be your makeup artist, your photographer, your videographer, your baker, your DJ, your decorator. All of those persons come under the umbrella of vendor. Do they have these persons on property, or do they have a list of preferred vendor? So even if it is that you are going to be renting a blank space, do they have that list? As a person that you are planning to bring in, they might just have them X'd off their list because that person went there and did something that you are not aware of, and so they're not going to allow that person in. Find out those things before you move forward. Logistics. With logistics, it means that everything will just flow seamlessly for you on your day. Logistics, you have to think about accessibility. How easy is it to get to your venue? Do your guests need to swim, hike, crawl, run, hours of transportation to get to your venue? Or venues, if you're having two different locations for a ceremony and your reception, what is the travel time between both? Think about that. Think about where you will be having your photos. Is the space at the ceremony a wow space for you, and then you can just easily slip to reception? I've been at weddings waiting at the reception for the couple and the bridal party to come back from their 1 hour photo shoot. That is 1 hour away, right? So don't be unfair to your guests. Figure out all of these things and what makes sense. The last two weddings I went to, one of them, the ceremony was actually at a garden/pool, and we could literally throw a stone and hit the door of the reception space. And they took their pictures. I could throw another stone and hit the couple. I could see them taking their pictures. So we weren't anxious. We weren't like, oh my God, what time are they getting back? Everything was just all in one space. And it was the same thing for my wedding, where we had the ceremony, the persons moved up to cocktail. We were still on location taking pictures because it was such a big location. And then we just seamlessly moved into reception. So there was a nice flow on the day. I also went to another wedding in December where the reception and the ceremony took place in the same space, and the reception was actually set before the ceremony took place. So the tables, the head tables, everything was there, but the chairs were turned to face the altar. It worked out fine. It also worked out fine, and it turned out that it rained on that day. So the couple took their pictures after the reception. So based on the time of the wedding, they were still afforded that opportunity. Music and entertainment restrictions. That is something that I actually never thought about, but it was outlined in the email response I received from UDC. They own Laughing Waters, right? Urban Development Corporation of Jamaica, for those who did not know. They actually said that you will be required to provide a JCAP license, that Jamaica Association of Composers, Authors and Publishers, and you are required to provide a copy of JAMS permit, Jamaica Music Society. So Jeffrey and I actually had to go to Kingston to these offices so we would be able to play any type of music, right? I never thought of anything like that. I didn't even know that those things were happening. But in our case, we had to get that. Some venues have curfews or noise ordinance restrictions. There are curfews, and I'm not talking about COVID protocols right now. In general, there are curfews. So from 10 o'clock, like 10 p.m., it's a cutoff time. 2 a.m., it's a cutoff time. You need to find out, especially if you want to party all night, and that was a big deal for us. How long do you have the space? How soon can you come in and do your setup? At what time can you break down the items? Right? You don't want to take that for granted, because of course that will affect the start time of your celebration, and that can affect things like your photography. Will you have enough time for good lighting? Will you have to rush through your reception? Stuff like that. With finding out the amount of time you have at the space, you need to find out if there are any overtime fees. You want to find out from your contact if there will be overlapping events, because that can complicate things. The event before yours can run late and it can push back your event, and you don't want to take that for granted, because there can be fees incurred, not with the venue, but with your vendors that you will have working overtime. Lighting and generator. That was the first thing on their list. You will be required to provide a generator for all electrical supply that may be required for your event. We take that for granted. If you're having a blank space, think about all your electrical needs and get a generator. Also, ask the venue coordinator if there is a generator. Don't assume that, there is lighting, so there must, no. You need to find out. Security, parking, and restrooms. You may need additional restrooms in the form of portable restrooms, aka porta potties, and trust me, there are some really chic, modern, top of the line porta potties. I've been in one, and trust me, I did not even remember that I was not in a building. It was just a wow experience. Guys, I'm hot, but in here is so cool. In here by myself. Here, listen.
We hope that you're refreshed, relieved, and rejuvenated. Privacy. Go in luxury.
Yeah. Parking, you want to ensure that wherever your guests will be parking, it's safe and it's not 2 miles from your ceremony and reception. It's not an hour away. And you want to ensure that everybody is kept safe in the space that you will be having your celebration. We had to hire security. Backup location, especially if you're going to be having your wedding at a space that is prone to weather conditions. Meaning, are you going to be getting married at a volcanic area that is likely to erupt? Because you have chosen to get married in the season that has a lot of eruptions, you must know what is your backup plan. Will it just be cancelled and your money back and that's it? Think about the inconvenience that you will experience in a case like that. It was rainy going into the weekend of our wedding, and so that was something that we really had to think about. What was our backup location? Our backup location was going to be our reception tent. So the space would have just been set for the reception, and if the rain fell, then we would just go under the reception tent and get married there. That was the backup. You may have another space that could be decorated beforehand. You have to check out what is that backup space. Is it something that looks good, even if it's, a last minute decision? Vendor teams. You want to know if your venue has a list of approved vendors, and if it is that you can take vendors in. With that said, you want to understand whether or not the coordinators or the staff on property will be able to assist. Find out firstly if there will be any staff at all, and how much will they be assisting. Will they be extensively involved in setting up and breaking down the items? How long will they be around for? You need to find out all of that information. Who is going to be my point person? Who do I go to when things go wrong? Who do I go to when I have a question? There are many important things to consider when you're gonna choose your perfect venue. Do not let anybody bully you into making a rash decision. You want to be well informed. You want to feel comfortable. Your planning process should be a fairy tale, believe it or not. And choosing the wedding venue, though this is an overwhelming part of the process, once that is out of the way, once it is done properly, then you can relax and go forward with the rest of the planning. So with that said, you are now at the end of the video, and I thank you so much for staying. Fun fact: the 7-day wedding of the Prince of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Al Rashid Maktoum, and Princess Salama was the most expensive wedding, costing over $100 million. Not sure if that's US, it's probably US, but yes, that is a lot of money anywhere you take it. The wedding actually included a stadium-sized hall that was built to accommodate 20,000 persons. So tell me in the comments how you feel about that. If you had that much money, would you be willing to spend it on your wedding? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know which other thing I left out that must be considered when selecting your perfect wedding venue. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bye!